Most people believe the most dangerous moment for someone with diabetes is when they eat too many sweets. But that's not always true. For many people living with type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, or unstable blood sugar levels, the most dangerous hours of the week often happen during weekends and holidays. Not when someone looks sick, not when someone is in a hospital, but precisely when everything feels normal, relaxed, and harmless. A gathering with friends, a drink, a few snacks, a little more food than usual, going to bed a bit later, moving a little less than usual. And sometimes those small little things are enough to trigger severe spikes in blood sugar, hidden nighttime drops, dehydration, stress on the heart, dizziness, heart palpitations, blurred vision, and in some cases, even a trip to the emergency room.
At age 20, the body can often recover from dietary mistakes. But at 45, 55, 65, or 70, when diabetes, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, abdominal obesity, or fatty liver are also present, weekends are no longer just a time for rest. For some bodies, weekends can become the starting point of a metabolic crisis. And the most dangerous part is this. Many of these crises begin with a very simple thought. Just this once won't hurt.
Weekends and holidays tend to follow a familiar pattern. Meal schedules change, eating times shift, sleep becomes later, movement decreases, food portions increase, drinks become sweeter, snacking becomes constant, and little by little, control starts to slip away. This rarely begins with one large meal. It usually starts with one small decision. Breakfast gets delayed. Then several hours pass without eating. And suddenly, the body, now very hungry, is sitting in front of a table full of food, snacks, desserts, drinks, and sometimes alcohol. At that moment, the brain is looking for quick pleasure. Not balance, not logic, not long-term consequences. And that is exactly the moment when blood sugar stops being just a number and starts becoming a real threat. Because for someone with diabetes, the problem is not just sugar itself. The real danger is the combination of several factors happening at once. Overeating, eating too quickly, high amounts of fat, refined carbohydrates, sugary drinks, alcohol, dehydration, and sitting still after a large meal. This combination can push the body into a state where blood sugar doesn't just rise, it fluctuates sharply. And those fluctuations can lead to dizziness, fatigue, sleepiness, stress on the pancreas, strain on the kidneys, and inflammation in the blood vessels. Imagine a 58-year-old man or a 62-year-old woman who has been living with type 2 diabetes for years, arriving at a family gathering during a holiday. Everything looks calm on the surface. The children are visiting. Grandchildren are playing. Laughter fills the house. The table is full of food, more than usual. Next to the main dishes are snacks, desserts, drinks, and maybe some alcohol. They think to themselves, I'm usually careful. Today I'll just enjoy myself. Just today. Emotionally, that decision is understandable. It's human. The problem isn't the desire to enjoy life. The problem is that the body no longer responds the way it did 30 years ago. A few hours later, certain signs may begin to appear, signs that people often ignore. A dry mouth, strong thirst, heavy eyes, difficulty concentrating, unusual heartbeats, weakness in the legs, mental fog. And sometimes the person simply says, I don't know why, but I don't feel well. That simple sentence can sometimes be the first warning sign of a real metabolic problem. Why do weekends and holidays create higher risks for people with diabetes? Because during normal weekdays, the body usually follows a predictable routine. Sleep happens at roughly the same time, meals are relatively consistent, daily movement is higher, medications are taken on schedule, and food decisions are less emotional. But during holidays, that structure often disappears. Long periods without food followed by heavy meals. When someone goes many hours without eating and then suddenly consumes a large meal, blood sugar tends to rise much more sharply. This becomes even more pronounced when the meal includes foods such as white bread, pizza, large portions of rice, desserts, chips, fried potatoes, or sweet sauces. 2. Alcohol and disrupted blood sugar regulation. Alcohol is not just a drink. To the body, alcohol is a toxin that must be processed quickly. When alcohol enters the system, the liver shifts its priority. Instead of helping regulate blood sugar, the liver focuses on breaking down alcohol. This means that for some individuals, especially those taking diabetes medications, there is a higher risk of delayed hypoglycemia or a dangerous drop in blood sugar hours later. At the same time, if alcohol is consumed alongside high carbohydrate or high fat foods, blood sugar may rise sharply first and then fall suddenly afterward. These swings, from high to low or low to high, are what place stress on the body. 3. Dehydration. During holidays, many people simply don't drink enough water. But salty foods, alcohol, sugary drinks, and high blood sugar levels can all increase dehydration. Dehydration can lead to greater strain on the kidneys, thicker blood circulation, more difficulty controlling glucose, increased fatigue, higher risk of headaches, dizziness, and weakness. 4. Physical inactivity after eating. One of the worst patterns looks like this: a heavy meal followed by long periods of sitting, feeling sleepy, and no movement afterward. When muscles remain inactive after eating, more glucose stays in the bloodstream. Instead of being used as energy, it circulates longer in the blood, increasing stress on blood vessels, nerves, and the medical system. Warning signs that should not be ignored. During holidays, many people mistake warning symptoms for normal fatigue, overeating, or simply getting older. But some symptoms should always be taken seriously. If blood sugar rises too high, symptoms may include intense thirst, frequent urination, dry mouth, blurred vision, unusual fatigue, sleepiness, headaches, nausea, confusion. If blood sugar drops too low, especially after alcohol or medication, symptoms may include shaking, sweating, rapid heartbeat, sudden anxiety, severe weakness, strong hunger, confusion, difficulty speaking, restlessness, or even loss of consciousness. In people over 50 or 60 years old, these situations are not just temporary discomfort. They can lead to falls, injuries, heart rhythm disturbances, fainting, or emergency medical visits. If you live with diabetes, these strategies can help reduce risk during weekends and holidays. Rule 1. Never arrive at a large meal or gathering on an empty stomach. Before leaving home or before the event begins, eat a small portion that includes protein and fiber. For example, unsweetened Greek yogurt, eggs, a small portion of nuts, salad, vegetables, cheese with vegetables. This reduces extreme hunger and prevents overeating later. Rule 2. Avoid sugary drinks. Sodas, sweet juices, energy drinks, and sugary cocktails can raise blood sugar very quickly. If alcohol is consumed, several precautions are important. Never drink on an empty stomach, keep the amount moderate, avoid sweet mixed drinks, drink water between alcoholic beverages, and be especially cautious if taking diabetes medications or insulin. Rule 3. Eat in this order: fiber first, protein second, carbohydrates last. This sequence can significantly reduce blood sugar spikes. Start with vegetables or salad, Then eat protein such as fish, chicken, eggs, or meat. Only afterward move to bread, rice, pasta, desserts, or other carbohydrates. Rule 4. Pay attention to side foods. Often the main meal is not the biggest problem. The real issue is constant snacking on foods like chips, fried potatoes, sauces, desserts, sugary drinks, continuous grazing on snacks. These foods are easy to eat without noticing how much has been consumed. Rule 5. Eat slowly. When food is eaten too quickly, the brain does not have enough time to register fullness. Slow eating is not just a behavioral suggestion, it is a metabolic strategy. Rule 6. Move after eating. A light walk for 10 to 20 minutes after a meal can significantly reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes. Rule 7. Do not relax your medication or glucose monitoring schedule. During holidays, some people delay medications, insulin, or glucose checks. This can easily disrupt blood sugar control.
If someone you care about lives with diabetes, certain comments can unintentionally make things harder. Statements like, "Just eat it, it's only tonight," "Don't be so strict," "You're always on a diet anyway," "It's just one drink," "It's only one piece." For someone managing diabetes, these small pressures can push the body out of balance. Real support means something different. Having healthier options available, making water easy to access, removing social pressure around food, and respecting someone's effort to take care of their health. Weekends and holidays do not need to disappear from life. Gatherings, shared meals, laughter, travel, and rest are important parts of being human. But for someone living with diabetes or insulin resistance, small disruptions during these days can sometimes lead to larger health problems. Managing diabetes is not just about reacting to emergencies. It is about preventing hidden fluctuations before they become dangerous. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with family members, friends, or loved ones who may face these same risks during weekends and holidays. Sometimes a small piece of awareness can prevent a serious medical situation. At DiaSync, the goal is to present clear, medically grounded information about blood sugar, metabolism, and long-term health without exaggeration and without unnecessary fear. If learning how to manage blood sugar and metabolic health in a practical, evidence-based way matters to you, consider following the DiaSync channel. We aim to be here every day as a reliable medical companion on that journey.